Magandang araw mga kababayan. Welcome to Speak Out Loud, where we explore the intersection of Filipino culture and Christian values. Today, we delve into responsible consumption and production, a topic very close to our hearts. We are your hosts, Jonas.
And Migs.
Today, we are here with very special guests. We have Mary, Julian, and Raphael. They will be joining us in discussing the responsible consumption and production today. Responsible consumption and production resonate with Filipino and Christian values by promoting stewardship, social responsibility, poverty alleviation, humility, care for others, care for future generations, and respect for human dignity. Embracing these values in daily choices contributes to a more just, sustainable, and compassionate society. Responsible consumption and production are critical components of sustainable development as they attempt to ensure that the use of natural resources fulfills present demands without jeopardizing future generations' ability to satisfy their own. In the Philippines, particularly in Mindanao, this entails implementing policies that reduce environmental impact, promote social fairness, and increase economic viability. What about you, Mary? What are your insights on today's topic?
Thank you for asking, Jonas. I think this topic should be discussed because seeing how our surroundings unfold, we must reflect on why this is happening. Because we consume things every day, it is also crucial that we pause and think about the impact that our choices have on our environment. We should understand the importance of our actions and our ethical responsibility as stewards of God's creation. We are gifted life to live here on earth, and I don't think we want to spend that life living in a polluted world.
Yes, I think you're right. We really should think of the consequences of our actions as consumers. Not only that, but I think we all should also discuss how production also plays a part in this situation. Any thoughts?
Yes, we need to consider production's role in this. Production sectors need to consider the production process social, environmental, and ethical impacts. Giant corporations, especially, need to be responsible for the effects of the operations, according to Captain Sachin Sawant, a training and placement officer at Vijayanagara Institute of Technology, cites current research on corporate social responsibility compliance that indicates some multinational companies have been involved in CSR compliance issues. These companies include Apple, Coca Cola, and Canon. Considering the Coca Cola Company, the company had violated carbon emission compliance in 2007, although it set a target to reduce its carbon emissions by 15% in 2020. Given the knowledge that carbon emissions contribute to global warming, it is an indicator that these companies, not just the ones mentioned, are responsible for many negative impacts on our environment. Therefore, it is more than just us consumers who should take responsibility, but also the extensive manufacturing facilities to properly manage their waste. Because we are all equal in God's eyes, and we all should work together to experience a comfortable environment equally.
Wow. Thank you for that terrific insight, Mary. It put into perspective the weight of the situation we are dealing with right now, but also gave a sense of optimism. I too believe that there is still a chance to change things and make it better. Right everyone? You agree too, right?
Yes.
I really agree with this statement, Jonas and Mary. I think that we all have a part to play in this movement. Now, I think it's time to talk about how can the UN SDG and Christian morals can be related to this issue, and how can this help shape us our place into a more sustainable environment. I'm sure Julian has something to share with this.
Yes, Miguel. UNSDG and Christian morals are related because they strongly focus on justice, compassion, and caring for others. UNSDGs express a moral need to address global difficulties by supporting peace, stewardship of the earth, and assisting the marginalized, all of which are central Christian beliefs. Many Christians see the pursuit of the SDGs as a chance to actively participate in campaigns to end poverty, promote equality, and save the environment, thus living out their faith. Christian values of love, service, and sympathy for the less fortunate align well with the aims focused on social justice and reducing suffering, supporting the UN SDGs. Therefore, seen by many Christian people, groups, and communities as a means of putting their moral principles into practice and helping them to create a more just and sustainable world.
Thank you, Julian. But can you give us more examples?
Sure, Miguel. First, we have shared values. The UN SDGs support several ideals, and ideas that are consistent with Christian teachings. Christian morality and the SDGs share an excellent affinity for concepts such as justice, compassion, stewardship, caring for the poor, and promoting peace. Second, a common belief among Christians is that they have a moral duty to combat social injustice and make constructive contributions to society. The SDGs align with the Christian teachings on social duty and caring for others since they share comparable concerns about alleviating poverty, inequality, and environmental damage.
Thank you, Julian. Is that all?
No, there's more.
Thank you. We'd like to know more about this.
Next is faith based actions. Many Christians are motivated and guided to work towards a better world by their faith. Participating in SDG oriented endeavors might be perceived as a manifestation of their religious conviction to love and assist others, advancing the welfare of society. Lastly, we have advocacy and partnership. Christian groups and organizations frequently participate in humanitarian and developmental endeavors to help achieve the SDGs. They might cooperate with governments, non governmental organizations, and other religious or secular groups to accomplish these shared objectives. Even while the UN Sustainable Development Goals are not overly religious, many theological and moral frameworks, particularly Christian morality, find resonance in their goals and ambitions. Engaging in SDG related activities is seen by many Christians as a way to practice their faith and make a positive, sustainable, and just world.
Thank you so much, Julian.
No problem, Miguel.
Now let's talk to Rafael because he will tell us about the intricacies of how sacred is the text of the Bible, spanning both Old and New Testament.
Thank you, Miguel. Now, I will tell you how the Bible holds a profound and sacred place in the hearts and minds of billions of people worldwide. It's a collection of texts revered by Jews, Christians, and Catholics, and to varying degrees by some other religious traditions. Its significance lies not only in its religious and spiritual guidance, but also in its cultural, historical, and literary impact. People believe how sacred the Bible texts are because they receive a certain teaching from a higher divine power, which is God, that provides us the wisdom and guidance to choose the right path. The Old Testament portrays some historical context even before Jesus Christ was born. It comprises sacred translations of the ancient letter of the Old Testament. The New Testament, on the other hand, portrays the modern teachings of Jesus Christ, which is the divine wisdom and guidance by God his Father. People believe these teachings because it is worthy to guide one's individual faith and choices, which can lead us to have a sense of responsibility in consuming and producing as a Christian individual in this society.
That's right, Ralph. In this case, these Bible teachings can help inspire others and communities to take action to these issues as this can solve the problems of the UN SDG. And not only that, this can also teach us how to be consumer responsible to our community. Thank you, Ralph. Now let's move on to Julian on how personal responsibility and emphasizing small actions can lead to bigger impacts to our community.
Through their influence on individual decisions, community involvement, and global perspectives, the UN SDG has the potential to affect our day to day lives significantly. People can consciously choose their consumption patterns to support the SDGs by choosing sustainable items or cutting back on trash. To help achieve particular SDGs, communities can coordinate efforts centered on environmental preservations, health, education, and poverty reduction. The objectives can influence cultural norms and values by fostering conversations and activities that advance equality, combat social injustice, and save the environment. Companies and organizations may modify their operations to promote sustainable development, impacting job openings, product offerings, and corporate social responsibility initiatives. Ultimately, the SDGs offer a framework that motivates people, groups, and organizations to actively participate in positive day to day changes, promoting a more equitable and sustainable society.
That's very informative, Julian. However, I would like to know more about these objectives and how people can apply them daily.
People can apply this in their daily lives by first encouraging consumers to select goods and services from firms that adhere to sustainable principles. They can impact our purchasing decisions by promoting morally and environmentally sound corporations. Second, this can also change our lifestyle. People can be motivated by the SDGs to adopt more sustainable lifestyle, which include cutting back on energy use, recycling and trash reduction, taking public transit, and switching to plant-based diets. Third, we can improve community engagement. The objectives encourage community engagement and activism by motivating people to participate in neighborhood projects that tackle social concerns, advance education, advance healthcare, and improve environmental sustainability. Fourth, policy and governance. Governmental adoption of the SDGs may result in changes to laws that impact social welfare programs, healthcare access, educational requirements, and educational rules, among other elements of daily life. Lastly, global awareness by encouraging individuals to think beyond their immediate surroundings and raising awareness of global difficulties. The SDGs increase empathy and concern for global issues in daily conversations and actions. To conclude, the SDGs have the power to shape people's everyday lives in a way consistent with equitable and sustainable development goals. They can also impact community actions, governmental policies, individual behaviors, and global viewpoints.
Thank you, Julian, for your insight on how we can solve the UN SDGs problems and how it can help our world become more sustainable. As Julian also mentioned, for me, it is really important that we do energy use, recycling, and trash reduction because it is a way for us to make our world more sustainable. And awareness for the youth today can also contribute in this project in saving the world as they are going to be the ambassadors that will continue the actions to the UNSDG.
It's important to note that progress in responsible consumption and production is an ongoing process. A continuous efforts from all stakeholders are necessary to achieve sustainable development goals. For the most recent and specific information on the state of responsible consumption and production in Mindanao, it's recommended to consult local reports, government publications, and relevant organizations working in the region. Now, let us have Raphael for our closing prayer to end this podcast.
In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Dear God, I thank you for the blessings in my life and for guiding me through joyous and challenging times. Grant me the strength to face difficulties with courage, the wisdom to make good choices, and the compassion to understand others. Help me grow in kindness, patience, and gratitude each day. May your light shine through me to bring hope and love to those around me. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much for our very special guests, Mary, Julian, and Raphael, for sharing your insights. To our listeners, Let's embrace responsible consumption and production as a reflection of our Filipino identity and Christian values. Remember, every choice we make has a ripple effect.
Thank you everyone for watching our podcast. I hope that you have learned many things and hope that these insights can inspire you and others to change our world today.
Lastly, this has been Speak Out Loud. Salamat for joining us. Until next time, ingat kayo.